Welcome to PEP Talks with Eric, where we shift gears from negative feedback loops and drive towards the life we truly want. I'm your host, Eric Ayers. I believe in the power of Ubuntu. I am because we are. Together, we'll explore how connections fuel our growth and create amazing experiences. In this podcast, we'll tune out the noise of the world and tune into what we really want and what really matters. Welcome to another episode of PEP Talks with Coach Eric. I'm your host, Coach Eric. Today, we're going to be tackling and diving into the idea of being gratitude. It's the gateway to a life-giving energy. Now, gratitude kind of has a bad rap. It's the go-to that people will say, hey, this is step one. Be grateful for something. So it becomes a cliche. The goal in today's episode is to break this down a little bit deeper, to identify our own understanding of what being gratitude actually is. And I'm reminded by a concept that I learned in the fifth agreement and in the fourth agreement is that we all gain an understanding and appreciation of specific words, of specific terms, of specific concepts. But words in general, we tend to create our own understanding of it. So as we're dialoguing with someone else, having a conversation, they may say a word meaning something different than the way that we interpret it. And to me, there's no better word to illustrate this than gratitude. What a better time to focus on gratitude and becoming gratitude than this first full week in the new year. It's the perfect time to reset and to plant seeds for life-giving energy. So again, today we're diving into the transformative concept of being gratitude. Think of gratitude as the sunlight. Think of gratitude as the water. Think of gratitude as the nourishment for your planted seeds, what they need to thrive, regardless of the stage of their journey. And remember, our buddy Drew Mack brought up the idea of appreciation appreciates. Well, the more we appreciate things, the more appreciation we experience. And that continues to grow. And it's a cyclic process. And gratitude is at the core of that. And that cyclic process is exactly why we are here each week, is to eliminate or decrease those negative feedback loops and replace them with the positive ones. My journey began with gratitude and not simply being grateful for something, because as Drew also told us, which I love, is that when we are grateful for something, a lot of times we bring with it the negative thing that contradicts it. So, I'm grateful that I have a job. Well, our mind's automatically analyzing that against what we don't have, because it's not the job that we want. And so our focus becomes on not being the job we want instead of fully embracing gratitude. Now, this is one of the concepts that we're going to deconstruct through this time together. Every journey begins with planting a seed, an act of faith and intention. So as we're planning these new intentions for 2025, my intention is abundance. Abundant 2025 continues to come to mind. It fills my soul, and that's what I'm going with. That is my faith. That is my intention for 2025. And I speak that into your life as well. Well, gratitude is the energy that nurtures and nourishes that seed. So whether it's buried in dark soil, sprouting under pressure, or bearing fruit to nourish others, the gratitude follows within this journey and provides the substance or the sustenance needed for this seed of intention to continue to grow. Are you with me? So, again, traditional gratitude is often seen as a reaction to a cause, like receiving a gift. But what if we could embody gratitude without waiting for a response? What if we could be gratitude? So, as we plant this seed of intention, as we plant this seed of abundance in 2025, I'm so happy and grateful now that abundance flows to and through me. That abundance is everywhere, and everything that I work on creates more abundance. This is what I'm happy for. This is what I'm grateful for. This is the gratitude. So notice I didn't say, I'm so grateful that I have this time to do this, right? Because that's contradicting and saying, well, the opposite of this is having time to do something else or being forced to do this. But no, I'm so happy and grateful that the energy of abundance flows to and through me. And everything that I do is in alignment with abundance. I know this to be true. I cannot see it in my physical realm at the moment, but I'm creating a manifestation for my future self. And I'm honing in to the future signature of gratitude to get me there. This is ultimately creating the seed environment for everything to happen that needs to happen in the beginning. Okay? Now, I planted this. This is in here. Now, what do we do after we plant a seed? After we put a seed into the soil? Well, we put the dirt on top of it and we pack it in. We put it in the dark, surrounded by constriction. All right? So think about that. When I close my eyes and I go to this intention, I'm so happy and grateful for the abundance of 2025 that flows to and through me. Well, when I close my eyes, I'm in this dark place. I'm in the soil. And sometimes we feel buried by our own circumstances. We're unable to see the light. But gratitude allows us to trust the process. That being buried isn't the end, but the beginning of the transformation. All right? We have to understand that being comfortable doesn't always mean growth and success and what we want. But being uncomfortable creates the periods of us being comfortable and us owning what we want in life. So gratitude shifts perspectives. It helps us embrace this constriction as preparation for growth because it's needed for growth. The constriction, the confinement, the dark, the loneliness. These are all setting us up for growth. And by tapping into gratitude, it allows us to open ourselves to the possibility of this growth, that we can grow into what we need to be instead of what we are attempting to control. Remember, the only thing we are putting forth is our intention, matching that with our gratitude, being gratitude. So, for example, you've all heard my story, and in the beginning parts of my story, it was extremely uncomfortable. extremely uncomfortable, both physically and emotionally, because I'd grown up with certain paradigm structures, models that I lived by. And all of a sudden, these were being deconstructed and I was constructing new ones. It felt odd, felt weird, felt different. Speaking that to others felt even more weird and different and strange. And then my physical body started shifting and I started having medical, I don't want to call them problems because they were opportunities, medical difficulties, and they were uncomfortable. I continually stayed in the mindset of I'm so happy and grateful now that I have complete wellness and my body responds appropriately to love and light and healing. And it does whatever it needs to do at the time of response. And what I meant by that was if someone wanted to go for a run, I could go for a run with them. If they wanted to go for a hike, I can hike with them. Whatever my body needed to do, whatever was demanded of it, it had the ability to do. So this was my mantra. This was my being gratitude. And it felt extremely uncomfortable. And it felt dark. It felt lonely. I felt like I was the only one after this. But it was super important for me to be alone because that's where the growth happens. You know, like if you look at an acorn, it's this big and you look at it. And if you hold it in your hand and close your eyes, you can see it as the oak tree that it'll become. It needs to be alone and uncomfortable and in dark places in order to become that oak tree. Well, in order for you to become that oak tree, you have to go through this. And tapping into gratitude helps us flow to and through the process. So once we begin this part of the journey, we begin to sprout. Now, sprouting is fun, right? Anyone who has a garden, who tends to a garden, when you plant seeds, you always wait for the sprout. And it's so exciting because it's the first physical sign of life. And okay, you trust that what's going on under the soil is happening in divine nature in the way that it's supposed to. But there's no evidence, right? And sometimes we feel that way. Sometimes inside we're growing and we can feel a difference, but we don't see anything different. That's okay. Continue in that flow of gratitude and allow gratitude to continue watering. Allow gratitude to continue utilizing the energy needed to create, to expand, to grow. Eventually, sprouts and you start to see a change. So, again, the growth is uncomfortable. As the seed pushes through that dirt, breaking its shell and reaching for something greater, like it's uncomfortable, but it finally starts to see light. And again, gratitude provides the energy for this phase. It helps us see challenges as opportunities to expand because it's at this moment where all of that pressure, all of that darkness, all of that loneliness is then exposed to light, love. And it's the first physical manifestation glimpse into what you're about to achieve, what you're about to manifest, what you're about to come out of, and what you're about to become, right? So this acorn that sprouts, that oak tree is super tiny. And after a while, it gets huge. This is true with us as well. And it's at this point where gratitude kind of shifts because it's easier to be grateful for something that you can see and you're starting to see it. So you have it's kind of a twofold process, because you have this internal momentum that is picking up and moving you and pushing you forward, because you feel the shifts. You begin to become comfortable with the uncomfortable. You begin to accept and take into account that the darkness, the loneliness, and the constraints that you feel on yourself are needed. And then it makes that light so much more powerful. So, as this begins to happen, begin to ask yourself questions like, what would I like to feel right now? Because this emotion, this is you becoming gratitude. So asking ourselves questions to keep us in this mindset, in this mentality, instead of reverting back to previous cycles that we used to go into, helps us stay grounded. So what would I like to feel right now? Think about, as you're sprouting through this, what would you like to feel right now? Well, in our case, in our intention, I would say, I would like to feel abundance. I would like to feel abundance, whatever that looks like. And then how can I see this differently? So if I'm looking at something that does not appear to be abundant, how can I see it differently? How can I see this as an obstacle that is here for me to stand upon instead of blocking my way? This is gratitude, because it was put there for divine purpose. And I have to see it through those other lenses. And gratitude is what allows me to do that. It's the energy that moves me. That energy in motion, that emotion that moves me towards where I want to go instead of where I don't want to go. So this happened to me when I can remember profoundly when I first had relief in my physical body. I won't go into details, but it was a couple of hours of no pain and no effects of the process that was going on, the dis-ease process that was going on inside my body. And it was like between 1 and 2 hours of, I felt at ease, I felt calm, I felt like I could breathe. That was the first time I could see the light shining, and I could feel the warmth of the sun shining on me. And that gave me enough to tap into the next stage of this journey, which is the blooming phase, right? And it's ultimately the gratitude and abundance, because blooming offers an abundant amount of resources. I mean, you could pull flowers off of a plant all day long, and the next day they have more flowers. An apple tree never runs out of apples. It's always abundant. And this is the phase where gratitude shines. It's where abundance flows and blessings bloom. All right. This is where the gratitude practices begin to start exiting you. And they begin to provide life for other people. Which is interesting, because now when we begin to tap into this abundant gratitude, all of a sudden, like, it's no longer thinking about it. We don't have to think about aligning our thoughts with what we want, because we're starting to see the direct manifestations of what we're creating. And people start coming to us. They start asking us, something's changed. What's changed? Oh, let me tell you. And as you tell them, that is you providing flowers. It's you providing the fruit of your gratitude. to and for them. And this is where it like starts shifting, because you're learning that, wait a minute, I have all that I ever need and more. And there's something powerful that comes from this point. And this is outside of gratitude. It is a huge lesson I learned. People tend to say that we can't provide nourishment to people if our cup is empty. I'm going to challenge this because we're in a state of gratitude and abundance, right? So we're abundant. And when you're abundant, you provide nourishment from the saucer, which is the catching of the overflow of your cup. Your cup will never run dry. Being gratitude allows you to continue flowing and never running out. And this is something I've forgotten on my journey that I'm rediscovering. That is huge. And what got me away from this was back to that pitfall of gratitude, of being like, okay, I don't like my current situation, so what am I grateful for? And then shifting that, but my focus is still on what I don't want. Now remember, true gratitude is trusting in divine timing. It's appreciating both the journey and the unseen gifts yet to come. I'm going to repeat that. True gratitude is trusting in divine timing. Everything's divine. And appreciating both the journey and the unseen gifts yet to come, because those gifts yet to come are completely secondary upon the journey that you embark upon. Gratitude is the energy that takes you on this journey, therefore allowing the gifts to come, which follows us into the harvest. And this is where you begin to change the world. Because gratitude isn't just for you. Again, it's meant for that overflow. It's meant to feed and nourish others. And the challenges we've endured and the lessons we've learned on this journey become nourishment for the world. So we tend to think that, oh, why me? Why do I have to go through this? Why are all these bad things happening to me? Why isn't life working out the way that it's supposed to, or that I want it to? But it is. It's just not in the way that you would have designed it. Because part of what we do is we offer healing to the world through the journey that we've been on. So there's a saying that hurt people hurt people. Yes. And healed people heal people. They don't heal them physically. They don't do anything to heal them. What they do is they offer their life journey, their tools that they picked up along the way to help others heal. This is how we help one another. And being gratitude supports us in this. It prepares us to respond with love and kindness, even when we're squeezed. What do I mean by squeezed? All right. One of the most profound analogies that I've ever heard was Dr. Wayne Dyer. He has this orange analogy, and it goes something like this. If I were to hand you an orange and you squeeze it, what comes out of it? Orange juice, right? Of course. Can anything other than orange juice come out of this orange? No. Could I squeeze it and get apple juice? No. Could I squeeze it and get lime juice? No. I will only get orange juice. Now, what if I squeeze the orange at 8 o'clock in the morning? What comes out? Orange juice. What about at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when I'm super stressful at work? What comes out? Orange juice. What about when I get home and the kids are going crazy and the house is a mess? And what if I squeeze it then? Orange juice. Okay. What if I just got cut off in traffic and I squeeze it? What comes out? Orange juice. What if I get in a fight, an argument with my spouse, with my kids, with a loved one? Orange juice. So ultimately, it doesn't matter what time of day, it doesn't matter who's doing the squeezing, it doesn't matter the circumstances, it does not matter. When you squeeze an orange, you will always get orange juice. Well, why is that? Because that is what it is filled with. Likewise, if someone squeezes you, if someone squeezes me, the only thing that can come out is what I'm filled with. So if we begin to pay attention to the emotions that are exuding out of us when we're squeezed, pressured, then we begin to understand what we're actually filled with. And then we can shift that. Gratitude shifts this for us. It is the energy that flows into the new filling of what we want, of those higher vibrating frequencies of love, peace, joy. It's the energy that helps us into that. So ultimately, like, gratitude isn't the end of the journey. It's what sustains the cycle of the entire journey into the giving back to others and then recycling. It's a new cyclical approach to what we're about. Gratitude is the first step in shifting from negative to life-giving energy. It's the sunlight and water for our seeds. It helps us weather the storms, stay rooted during challenges, and flourish when the divine time is right. Being gratitude gives us the energy needed, gives us the internal support, it gives us the understanding needed to stay on that journey. Things to help embody gratitude, daily gratitude practices. So you can journal intention reflections, especially in the beginning. And I spoke about this before. Set intentions. They're great. Go to sleep with this on your mind. Our subconscious mind works in our favor when we allow it to, because at night it shifts, and the last thing that we put into it is what it creates a plan for. So why not go to bed with the intention that we are willing to set, or something that we need to figure out, and being gratitude for this, and allow us to wake up with that. And then we wake up and say, I'm so happy and grateful that my intention is being manifested. And then we can also reframe challenges as opportunities for growth, because that's all they are. They can be seen as one or two different ways, and each way leads us down different paths. Always. Perceived negative, which is technically a lower vibrating frequency, emotion leads us down a lower vibrating frequency. higher elevated or good emotions lead us into higher, faster vibrating frequencies. And that is the ultimate foundation framework of law of attraction. That's how we attract things. We align with the frequency. And gratitude is the vehicle that gets us there. It keeps us grounded in what we need instead of following the rabbit holes of what we don't need. So I encourage you to embody being gratitude this week. Try it for a week and then continue it. I know this has reignited something within me that is so needed, and it's so comforting, and it's so loving, it's so non-judgmental, it's so profound, and it's such in the Ubuntu spirit of I am because we are. And I can feel that energy of growth and love and gratitude, and I'm so happy and grateful now that we live and operate in a community of abundance and wellness, and we all flow to and through universal life and love. And I'm so happy and grateful for each one of you. Whether you're in the dirt, stretching towards the light, or blooming in abundance, trust that gratitude will carry you through. Take time to plant your seeds, nurture them with appreciation, because that appreciation appreciates. And trust this process as you tap back into being gratitude. And remember, gratitude is a foundation for a year filled with growth, alignment, and abundance. Be the energy that nourishes your life and the lives of others. Guys, seriously, thank you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for being you. You are needed in this world. You are loved. And may this year bring abundance, overwhelming happiness, peace, joy, and love to each one of you. And please reach out if you need anything from me. And until next time, be well, be love. Thank you for joining me on PEP Talks with Eric, where together we shift our focus, brace connection, and drive towards a more fulfilling life. Remember, it's not just about where you're headed, but how you choose to travel along the way. As you continue your journey, know that you have the power to change lanes and focus on the path that leads to positivity, purpose, and connection. Let's stay connected and continue empowering your journey one commute at a time. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. And until then, be well, be loved.